Tonight, our special transmission as the arrest warrant of Israel's Prime Minister by the International Criminal Court is in the cards. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Zahra Sayed. It has been 205 days since the onset of Israel's war. In the past 24 hours, Israeli airstrikes have killed at least 34 Palestinians in Gaza. 68 have been injured. The casualties include children and women. The strikes targeted residential areas. The first strike targeted a house belonging to the Al-Khatib family in the Janina neighborhood, resulting in 3 fatalities, including a child. Several others have been injured. The second airstrike targeted a house belonging to the Al-Khawaja family in the Shabora refugee camp, killing 7 Palestinians, including a baby. The third strike targeted a house belonging to the Abu Taha family, killing 10 Palestinians, including 3 children. Israel has intensified its assault on Rafah. This comes despite global concern over potential mass casualties in the city. More than 1 million displaced Palestinians are seeking refuge in Rafah. On the diplomatic front, Saudi Foreign Minister Faisal bin Farhan and the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met in Riyadh to discuss the ongoing war. They emphasized the urgent need for a ceasefire and the provisioning of humanitarian aid in the besieged region. The death toll from Israel's war continues to mount. At the time of writing, at least 34,454 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli strikes. Another 8,000 are presumed dead under the rubble. 77,557 have been injured. Israel's revised death toll from Hamas's attacks stands at 1,139. The United Nations has closed 5 cases regarding Israel's allegations against the United Nations Aid Agency. Israel accuses the employees of the United Nations Relief and Works Agency of being involved in Hamas's attacks. However, Israel has provided no concrete evidence to support its allegations. The investigation found no evidence in one case and suspended 3 due to insufficient evidence. Another case has been suspended until Israel provides additional evidence. The Office of Internal Oversight Services is carrying out the investigation. Following Tel Aviv's allegations, several Western nations halted their funding to the agency. However, Israel's inconsistencies have prompted some countries to reinstate funding for their organization. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is putting up intensive effort to avert a potential arrest warrant by the International Criminal Court. Reports reveal the World Court is considering issuing a warrant over possible war crimes committed by Netanyahu's government in Gaza. An Israeli newspaper reports Netanyahu is frightened and unusually stressed by the possibility. It says the Prime Minister is engaging with the White House to avoid the warrant. Israeli officials like Defense Minister Yoav Gallant and Chief of Staff Major General Herzi Halevi has also risked warrants. Netanyahu vehemently opposes what he calls the World Court's interference in Israel's war on Gaza. The United States State Department is also reviewing Israel's use of U.S.-supplied weapons amid concerns over humanitarian law violations. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is tasked with assessing Israel's compliance by May 8th. The United States government is investigating the University of Massachusetts Amherst following complaints of discrimination against Palestinian and Arab students. The Education Department's Civil Rights Division opened its inquiry on April 16th. A 49-page civil rights complaint accuses the university of slow response to harassment. Allegations include racial slurs, death threats, and assaults targeting Arab and Palestinian students. The complaint alleges that a student began appearing at off-campus pro-Palestinian protests, shouting threats such as "kill all Arabs." Despite evidence, protective measures were delayed. Administrators allegedly failed to condemn the behavior. Instead, they engaged in events supportive of Israeli actions. The University Police Department's actions are also under scrutiny. Premier Doug Ford's constituency office is demanding the reversal of the keffiyeh ban in the Ontario legislature. The news comes after protesters demanded Ford and the Conservative MPPs to act in a rally. The keffiyeh was banned from the Ontario legislature in March. Last week, independent MPP Sarah Jama was removed from the chamber for refusing to remove her keffiyeh. The New Democratic Party attempted twice to overturn the ban. The motions failed due to some conservative MPPs voting against them. New Democratic Party leader Merritt Stiles has announced plans to defy the ban if it is not reversed by May 6th. Previously, Ford urged his caucus to support overturning the ban. However, he has now left the decision to legislators. McGill University students in Montreal, Quebec have set up nearly 60 tents on campus in support of Palestinian rights. The encampment started this past Saturday. The students join a wave of pro-Palestinian demonstrations held on campuses around the United States. McGill students are demanding the university divest from companies that support Israel's war. Professors Michelle Hartman and Roberta LaPiana are advocating for ethical divestment. LaPiana joined the protest accompanied by her children. She says there is a need for moral support for the students protesting unethical practices. A database published earlier this month lists 50 companies in which McGill has invested in. The database has been compiled by 2 pro-Palestinian student groups. Protesters say these companies have links to the ongoing Palestinian genocide. These companies supply weapons or technology to the Israeli military, operate in illegal settlements, invest in Israeli companies, or operate in Israel. The World Central Kitchen plans to resume its operations in Gaza. The group says it plans to address the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. It had halted its aid program after Israeli airstrikes killed 7 of its workers, including Canadian Jacob Flickinger. The group reiterates its calls for an independent investigation into the incident. Flickinger's father claims the attack was deliberate, as the workers had clearly coordinated with the Israeli army. Israel calls the incident a fault. It attributes the attack to a case of mistaken identification. Ontario Education Minister Stephen Lecce has announced a ban on cell phone use during instructional time for students in grades kindergarten to grade 12. The move aims to address rising cell phone use and vaping in schools. $30 million have been allocated for security upgrades and vape detectors. Social media access on school networks will be blocked. The announcement follows lawsuits by major Ontario school boards against social media companies. The lawsuits allege negative impacts on students' behavior and learning. The progressive conservative government initially banned cell phone use in 2019. However, it left it up to the boards and the schools to implement. Some experts say classroom cell phone bans will improve learning and reduce bullying. Others argue cell phones are a useful tool for student safety. The Ontario Secondary School Teachers' Federation remains skeptical whether a blanket ban will improve matters. Thank you for watching. Our news is produced by Muslim Network TV, which is a not-for-profit organization. We need your support for donations. Please scan the QR code on our broadcast or visit muslimnetwork.tv to donate now so we can continue to amplify the voices of Muslims in Canada and abroad. Assalamu alaikum.